Hey folks, this is Jake Davis bringing a wrestling recap for you this afternoon. I wanted to shoot this small match. I had a lot of, I had dad stuff to do, responsibilities, people. Anyhow, I'm going to talk about the Royal Rumble 2020 live last night from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, baseball stadium. Right off the bat, I gotta say I love the aesthetic of the building. It was a beautiful arena, and just it reminded me of WrestleMania 19 in Safeco Field in Seattle. Also a baseball stadium, baseball arena. It just the I don't know, just gives this kind of unique look to the show. Really liked it a lot. Anyhow, the opening match was a Falls Count Anywhere match between Roman Reigns and King Baron Corbin. Both guys are going to be in the Men's Royal Rumble match later on, and they kind of want to settle the feud here. This was kind of my favorite match of the night because they really showed off the building, and I told you how great I thought it looked. We had some outside interference from both the Usos and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, so basically it turned into this big six-man scrap. Lots of awesome movie shot moments of guys flying into frame to punch a guy in the face, kind of shit. There's this great spot where Roman Reigns throws Baron Corbin into a porta potty and flips it over, and Corbin comes out completely clean. But I'm just like, you could fucking touch him. I ain't gonna fucking fight a guy after throwing him in a shit house. Finish comes where the guys are literally fighting on top of the dugout. Roman Reigns hits the spear, picks up the win. Great crane shot of him standing on the dugout next to knocked out Roman, the cold crowd. A really cool segment all around. I enjoyed this match. Unfortunately, this is probably the worst Royal Rumble pay-per-view I've ever seen. The second match was the Women's Royal Rumble match, and right before that, they do talk about the immensely tragic death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, and I believe 7 other people in a helicopter crash. It's just horrible, absolutely horrible. It's just heartbreaking, and just I can't even imagine what those families are going through right now. It's awful. It really is. But show tries to the show must go on. And up next was the Women's Royal Rumble match. Alexa Bliss was first. Actually missed her entrance because I was grabbing a beer and kind of beat myself up a little bit for her because I really like her. Bianca Belair comes out, and she's a total beast. She just goes... beast is the phrase. She just eliminates... They say she eliminated 8 people before she was thrown out, but I counted 9. Uh... I guess they're not counting Mandy Rose for some reason. Anyhow, she had a hell of a performance, and in the 3 years of the Women's Rumble, this was the first real monster showcase kind of performance that you get from people in the Rumble. Real great performance from Bianca in this. Charlotte Flair starts throwing people out left and right. We had great returns from Mighty Molly, that was terrific, and Kelly, that was great to see her. Lana Lang comes out dressed as Captain Marvel, looking great. Not Lana Lang, that's Lana. Lana Lang. she comes out, looked like Captain Marvel, and a few minutes later, Liv Morgan comes out dressed as the Black Cat. They throw each other out. They brawl to the back. Definitely got a few going there. Dakota Kai got eliminated. I don't know if it was just bad booking or some kind of miscommunication. It really felt foolish for her and Tegan to both be in the Women's Rumble. And not have any interaction. Dakota's long gone by the time Tegan Knox got in there. Number 29 was Santino Marella in drag as Santina. Called back to what happened 11 years ago with the women's at the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal at WrestleMania 25. They ruined that too. I thought, oh great, we're going to have this opportunity for Beth Phoenix to finally get her revenge on Santino. But no, and Santina instead is... he's kind of cornered by Pinup Strong, and he puts the Cobra on to fake out like he's going to do it to one of them. Then he cobras himself and just falls over the top rope. So you came back all these years later, did a callback to a gimmick and the thing that the fans absolutely loathed, and you still can't put Beth over? This was your spot. You should have taken a kick in the nuts, DDT, hurl his ass over the top rope. It was a disappointment. It was a wasted opportunity. And if that wasn't what they were going to do, what was the point of any of that? So, another thing, Beth Phoenix gets busted open the back of her head, and by this point in the match, just like the back of her hair is just drenched in fucking blood. Really disturbing image. Back. Shayna Baszler's number 30, and it comes down to, who was the fourth girl? I think it's Beth, Natalya, Shayna, and Charlotte. And Beth throws out Natalya. Charlotte throws out Beth. Comes down to Shayna and Charlotte. And Charlotte throws out Shayna Baszler, wins the Royal Rumble. My dad made a great point last night. This happened twice now. First with Asuka, and now with Shayna Baszler. Women who are setting the world on fire. Changing the game with their style and their characters. And has the entire attention of the whole wrestling community. And how are they awarded for this great success, this phenomenon that they create themselves through their own greatness and their own hard work? Well, your reward is you get the job to Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair did not need this Royal Rumble. It was a big disappointment. It took the heart out of it. And for me personally, the next hour of the show or more was virtually unwatchable. Because she cuts a pointless, stupid, little quick promo. Doesn't say she's going to fight at WrestleMania. Which, come on, we know who she's going to fight at WrestleMania. It's the match we've seen 100 times, and nobody's asking to see it again. What are you doing? Don't jump on the bed. Annabelle, what I just said. She's testing me. Anyhow, next up was the SmackDown Women's Championship match of Bayley defending against Lacey Green. And there's Lacey Green and Lacey Evans. One's a wrestling chick and the other's a YouTube chick. I always get them mixed up. Lacey Evans. And her daughter and husband are at ringside to watch this match. And Bayley does great heel stuff. Actually talking shit to the little girl throughout the match. That was funny. I liked that. But, I wasn't all into this match. This match was just boring. It was just killing time. This is the fourth pay-per-view title match I think Lacey has had, and not once has she felt like a legitimate contender. She doesn't work. She's just not getting over. At least not with me. But yeah, Bayley retains the title. I like Bayley. And Michael Cole, moronic Michael Cole, kept saying I've seen at least 3 times during the course of this match that Bayley's been champion for over 240 days. No, she hasn't. She lost the title. She lost the title in October. Doesn't matter if she got it back 2-3 days later. She lost the belt. New reign starts. You start the clock at 0. Anyhow, next up was the Universal Championship strap match. Daniel Bryan against the champion, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I'll say one thing. At least we had no red lights. I literally fell asleep during this fucking match. And when I say literally, I literally mean the literal definition of the word literally. This match put me to sleep. I had to be woken up. It was boring. It was beyond boring. It was atrocious. It was Daniel Bryan gets a flurry. Bray Wyatt shuts him down. Lots of whips. Lots of laughing. Lots of stupid posing. I've been a defender of Bray Wyatt, and a lot of people online love him, but you think the reason he has not really ever done much, despite lots of pushes, lots of high profile, and lots of fan support, is probably because he just isn't that good? I mean, I think he sucked. This was a god-awful match, and this was the third fucking pay-per-view match of his that was just atrocious since he's become the Fiend. So maybe it's not what WWE's doing with him. Maybe he's just not that good. But hey, I'm in a minority on this. I thought this was garbage. I could not wait for it to end. It was insufferable. Oh my God. They're going to make me rage quit WWE with this Fiend shit. It's awful. He is awful. Okay, enough of it. Next up, we had the Raw Women's Championship, the Women's World Championship, the most prestigious women's championship in all of pro wrestling, if you ask me. Why? Because I don't know. It just is. because I said that. um, Becky Lynch defending against Asuka, who's one half of the women's tag team champions. And the whole story of this is that Becky Lynch just cannot beat Asuka, and no matter what kind of match it is. Last year at the Royal Rumble, they had a match and Asuka made her tap. Becky would go on to win the Rumble later in the night, but, there's still that loss. This was a good match. I absolutely love the body language, the shit from, Asuka's great with that shit. She's just stoked. She's ready to whoop some ass at the beginning of it. She's so terrific. Greatest women's wrestler of all time, in my opinion. There's this horrific. They're on the apron, and Becky gets her in a vertical suplex and just throws her outwards towards the ground, and Asuka lands face first. That was terrifying. That was a terrifying spot. There's lots of there was a kick where at one point Becky gets kicked in the head, and I think the referee, I don't know if it was like a bad play on, like they were going to get a technical knockout or what the deal was. That it just kind of slowed the match down a little bit. Especially since I don't really know if it was she really hurt? Was it a real stiff kick that kind of knocked her loopy for a second? I don't know. But the finish comes with Asuka's getting the red mist, the green mist ready. Becky sees it, does a spin kick, kicks her in the belly. Asuka goes straight up, spits a miss, gets it all on her own eyes. Becky, twists her up, puts her in the disarmor. Asuka taps out. I do think it's weird. I think maybe been a little bit miscommunication, or just because Asuka wanted to be big and theatrical. But it's just weird that she gets kicked in the belly, but her head goes straight up. It's mechanics of it, So after the match, it was a great kind of babyface moment. Becky just kind of staring and giving, just giving her a nod of respect. Yeah, I'm talking.
A killer movie.
Killer movie? No, you're not watching what? Why you want to talk? You don't want to watch scary movies. You don't like scary movies.
Oh, talking a silly movie called A Baby Face.
No. Babyface is what you call a good guy in wrestling.
Ew, not Baby Face.
Oh, I know. How do you know about these movies? She's talking about Happy Death Day. There's no way she's saying that. That kid's sneaky. Anyhow, I'll wrap this up. Main event time, Men's Royal Rumble. Brock Lesnar is the WWE Champion, and he is starting the match. The first 13 guys in a row. Throws them right out. There's a great part where it looks like Kofi Kingston's going to get some redemption. Him and Rey Mysterio teaming up, and him and Biggie Langston. But eventually, Brock Lesnar is able to divide and conquer. Keith Lee comes in like a house of fire. Brock Lesnar just sells the shit out of Keith Lee. I mean, Keith Lee does get eliminated. Doesn't last that long. But, just the look on Brock Lesnar's face, like legitimate intimidation. Like, who the hell is this guy? He's coming up. Braun Strowman comes up, and he's going at both of them instead of teaming up against Brock Lesnar, getting him out. This distraction kind of enables Lesnar to get his win back. He tosses them both out at the same time while they're fighting on the ropes. Also, there's this great bit earlier where Shelton Benjamin comes in, and it's a wonderful fucking callback to both the Team Angle era of Paul Heyman and Shelton Benjamin. He kind of rebuilt the Heyman family for a brief time there on SmackDown. A lot of people forget that. And also the Minnesota, what is it? They're both from Minnesota. They were in a tag team. They're collegiate athletes, and they were both. God, what's the name of the Ohio Valley Wrestling, OVW? So you got the So Brock Lesnar eventually. Here comes Ricochet, who he kicked in the nuts last week. Ricochet, he's distracted when he sees big-ass Drew McIntyre come in. Ricochet kicks him in the balls from behind. McIntyre with a Claymore kick, and he eliminates Brock Lesnar to a thunderous ovation. And the crowd just chanting, na goodbye. McIntyre dominates the ring for a few minutes. It starts to get filled up with guys like, AJ Styles. And then, the moment of the night. Number 21 hits. And fucking Edge hits the ring. After 9 years of being forced retired to a severe a fucking collection of injuries, to be frank, he's back in the ring, and there was not a sitting person in the building at this point, man. I leaped down my chair. I couldn't sit back down for a good 10-15 minutes. I was so excited. Did a victory lap around the room. But I mean, it was a great moment to see him come back. I mean, start getting guys like Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. The guys, AJ Styles suffered. It looked like a shoulder injury, and I could tell. I read it was a shoulder injury this morning, but I saw when he left the ring, this kind of people looking around. You could tell something had happened here. And number 30 comes out, and it's Seth Rollins, and he is flanked by his faction. There's Buddy Murphy and the AOP, and they start throwing people out left and right. Eventually, the babyfaces get together, and they fight off AOP and Buddy Murphy, leaving Seth Rollins by himself. Rollins is thrown out. It comes down to the final three are Roman Reigns, Edge, and Drew McIntyre. Roman Reigns spears Edge, throws out Edge. They're both fighting on the apron. Then he throws out Edge, goes for a spear on McIntyre, gets Claymore kick, and throws Roman Reigns over the top rope, making Roman Reigns, I believe, now tying or breaking Big Show's record for being the last guy in the Royal Rumble. The last guy thrown out in the Royal Rumble the most times. And Drew McIntyre wins the Royal Rumble. Huge, huge, huge surprise. It was a great main event, eventually. It's really two different matches. Brock Lesnar running through people was kind of boring, but to his credit, told a lot of story, a lot of callbacks at certain eras and certain rivalries, and to the future with guys like Keith Lee. While I don't like that kind of booking for a Rumble. It does, however, take advantage of the hour-long match, as well as took advantage of opportunities to tell multiple storylines in a single match. That was the story of this match, was the stories. The coming out of Drew McIntyre, the dominance of Brock Lesnar, the return of Edge, and the vileness of Seth Rollins. It was a terrific way to close an otherwise pretty lame show, in all honesty. Kicked off with a great match. The Women's Rumble was stifled by not only the wrong winner, but someone who no one really wanted to win. Overall, I got to give it a D. It wasn't a good show. I didn't really have a good time last night, even though the show ended great. Hope you like this review. I'm going to go see what damage my kids have caused over the last 15 minutes. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.